evening. Welcome to World News. I am Wisdom Onisi. First, the headlines. Supreme Court dismisses suit by 19 states challenging constitutionality of EFCC, ICPC, and NFIU. Suspected bomber dead after trying to enter Brazil's top court ahead of G20. South Korean opposition leader handed suspended jail term. And on sport and tennis, senile and freaked progress at ATP finals. Now the news in details. The Supreme Court on Friday dismissed the suit filed by 19 state governments against the federal government, challenging the constitutionality of the law establishing the Economic and Financial Crime Commission, EFCC, and two others. The apex court threw out the suit for lacking in merit and substance. Justice Nwanya Baji, who read the lead judgment, held that the states were completely wrong in holding that EFCC established by an act of the National Assembly was an illegal and unlawful body. In the unanimous judgment of a 7-man panel of justices of the court, the power of the EFCC, ICPC, and NFIU to arrest and prosecute offenders were affirmed. Away from that, we will have you know that the Executive Secretary, Federal Capital Development Authority, FCDA, Shehu Ahmed, has been suspended indefinitely. According to a statement on Thursday, Senior Special Assistant on Public Communication and New Media to the Minister of Federal Capital Territory, FCT, Yesowike Lare Olayinka, the suspension of Ahmed is with immediate effect. Ahmed was subsequently being directed to hand over to the Director of Engineering Service in the FCDA. Olayinka did not, however, state the reason for Ahmed's suspension. Let's also have you know that Edo State Governor Monday Webelo has appointed Gani Audu as his Chief of Staff. A statement signed by the Secretary to the State Government, Musa Umar Ohilo, and said Audu's appointment takes immediate effect. Ohilo said the new Chief of Staff would help Webelo in driving meaningful reforms in the state. Audu was an elected chairman of Isako West Local Government Council from 2004 to 2010. He was elected member of the Edo State House of Assembly, Isako West constituency from 2015 to 2023. The European Union ambassador designates to Nigeria, Gutial Magnot, on Thursday said the EU is very much interested in Nigerian stability and future. According to a statement released in Abuja, Magnet made this known during the inauguration of the second cohort of the Youth Sounding Board Nigeria, comprising 25 young people drawn from across the country. Through the YS Bill Nigeria, the European Union provides a platform for young people to have an influence on the policies and programs of the EU delegation in Nigeria. In his remarks, Mignot explained that through the program, the EU hoped to enable active engagement and exchange between young people and decision makers. Now, when we return, news from other parts of Africa. Stay with us. Welcome back. Now news from other parts of Africa. Senegal will vote in legislative election on Sunday that will determine whether the new president and government can gain control over the National Assembly and push through their agenda for reforms. Campaigning has grown heated in recent days and comes at a precarious time for the new government, which is navigating a spiraling fiscal crisis that could undermine its ability to deliver on promises to boost the economy and create jobs. Prime Minister Osman Sanko, known for his fiery rhetoric, said this week that his supporters had come under attack and urged them to take revenge. He has also warned that restraint should not be mistaken for weakness. More than 61,000 people are estimated to have died in Khartoum state during the first 14 months of Sudan's war, with evidence suggesting the tolls from the devastating conflict is significantly higher than previously recorded. According to a new report, the estimate includes some 26,000 people who suffered violent death, a higher figure than one currently used by the United Nations for the entire country. The estimated deaths from all causes in Khartoum state were at a rate 50% higher than the national range before the conflict between the army and paramilitary rapid support forces erupted in April 2023. The UN says the conflict has driven 11 million people from their homes and unleashed the world's biggest hunger crisis. Nearly 25 people, half of Sudan's population, need aid as famine has taken hold in at least one displaced camp. Now we move to other parts of the world after this break. Stay with us.
This is Hillstv. Quality broadcasting is what we'll bring to you. Now we be this
Hillstv, Poker.
Welcome back. Now news from other parts of the world. A man killed himself with a bomb outside Brazil's Supreme Court after trying to enter the building, officials said, stirring security concern before the country hosts global leaders from the group of 20 major economies. The blast comes 5 days before the G20 heads of state meet in Rio de Janeiro, followed by a state visit to the capital, Brasilia, by Chinese President Xi Jinping. The first of two explosions went off on Wednesday evening in a parking lot near the court building, and a second blast came seconds later in front of the court where the man's body was found. Away from that, the United Nations Special Rapporteur for Future Alliance, Edwards, said on Thursday she is alarmed over allegations that Ecuador former Vice President George Glass was suffering torture while detained at the Andean country's La Rocal prison. Glass was detained in April this year after the Ecuadorian security forces stormed Mexico's embassy in Quito, where he was held up after seeking asylum. While Glass supporters say the arrest is politically motivated, the ex-vice president has been convicted for corruption on 2 other occasions. Glass' lawyer said on X it was urgent his right and well-being were protected. A South Korean court handed the country's opposition leader a suspended prison sentence Friday for violating election laws, a ruling that may prevent him from running the next presidential election. The Seoul Central District Court found Lee Jae-myung, the leader of the main opposition Democratic Party, guilty and handed him a suspended 1-year jail term, a court spokesperson revealed. Up next is business. Please stay with us. Welcome back now to business news. The Nigerian federal government and the Federal Executive Council on Thursday approved a $2.2 billion external borrowing plan. This is part of the federal government external borrowing program for the 2024 Appropriation Act. The Finance Minister Wale Edon told newsmen after the Federal Executive Council meeting at the Aso Rock Villa, Abuja. The financing initiative will combine Eurobond and Sukuk offerings estimated at $1.7 billion and $500 million, respectively, to reinforce Nigeria's fiscal stability, said Edon, adding that the results of the FG's economics reform qualified Nigeria for the international capital market financing. He said the final allocation between these financial instruments will be determined based on market conditions and advice from transactions advisors pending National Assembly approval. Still on business news, the federal government has sought to acquire all lands with deposit of gold from state government and private individuals. The bill, titled Gold Reform Bill, sponsored by Natasha Akpoti Uduaghan, has since passed a second reading, although its public hearing has been suspended indefinitely. One of the clauses of the bill seeks to grant the government exclusive rights over all gold resources in the country, enhancing regulatory oversight and promoting responsible exploitation of Nigeria's gold reserves. The bill stated that the entire property in and control of gold under or upon any land in Nigeria shall be vested in the government of the Federation for and on behalf of the people of Nigeria. Away from that, key government agencies and stakeholders have expressed differing concern over the proposed Investment and Security Bill 2024. The bill, which is intended to repeal the Investment and Securities Act of 2007 and enact new regulation for Nigeria's capital market, drew feedback from the Central Bank of Nigeria and the Ministry of Finance, who cautioned that certain provisions could create friction and reduce oversight. The various stakeholders raised their concern at a public hearing held on Thursday at the National Assembly complex. Representing the CBN, Tuko Galadima voiced opposition to the expensive powers the bill grants the Securities and Exchange Commission over public companies, particularly financial institutions under the CBN's jurisdiction. Still to come is sport. Please stay with us.
This is Hillstv. Quality broadcasting is what we'll bring to you. Now we be this
Hillstv, Poker.
Welcome back now to sport news. The Manchester City striker ran on to Sandal Burgett's fine through ball to slot past the goalkeeper first time to put his side 2-1 up with his 35th Norway goal. Haaland had equal and passed Jordan Jovi's 90-year record of 33 Norway goals with double against the same opposition last month. Teenager Antonio Nussal gave Norway an early lead with some quick footwork and a clever finish before the Leipzig teammate Benjamin Sekol equalized with a penalty for Slovenia. Norway captain Haaland then struck a Nussal record, scored another fine solo goal to increase their lead before Jens Peter Hood added a late fourth from the Haaland assist. Over to tennis, where we have you know that world number one Jannik Sinner continued his perfect start at the ATP finals with a dominant win over Russian Daniil Medvedev. Playing on home soil in the Turin, Sinner won 6, still able to qualify. And that's your sport news and world news. Now we move to the rest of the news after this break. Stay with us. Glad to have you back. Now the rest of the news. A magnitude 6.6 earthquake rattled Papua New Guinea on Friday, the United States Geological Survey said, striking off the country's eastern coast. The USGS said the quake was 51 kilometers, that is 31.6 miles deep, and located 123.2 kilometers from the closest town of Sokopo. The Papua New Guinea National Disaster Center said it was assessing for damage. Earthquakes are common in the Papua New Guinea, which sits on top of the seismic ring of fire, an arc of the intense tectonic activity that stretches through Southeast Asia and across the Pacific Basin. And that's your world news. But before we go, here are the headlines once again. We've told you that Wike suspends FCTL Secretary Ahmed. We brought to you that suspended bomber died after trying to enter Brazil's top court ahead of G20. We informed you that South Korean opposition leader handed suspended jail term. And on sport, on tennis, Senal and Freaks progress at ATP finals. Remember to visit us on Facebook at Hillstv Abuja, Instagram at Hillstv Abuja, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Hillstv. I am Wisdom Onisi. Thanks for watching.